Hey guys, Scones Football here, back with another video, and today we are back with the Premier League predictions for game week 32. Just a quick reminder, some of these games in the Premier League are being played over a couple of days due to the classing of Philip's funeral, so none of these games will be at 3 o'clock on Saturday. That applies for all the EFL games in Champions League 1 and League 2 as well. They'll all be played at 12:30. Apart from the two games in Championship tonight, you usually get a game on a Friday, and you got one at 8 o'clock tomorrow night in the Championship as well. So right then guys, let's get straight into the Premier League prediction video then guys. The first game is Everton versus Spurs. Well, of course, the news came out that Everton were without their top striker, Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Well, last season it's hit and miss with Everton last season because Calvert-Lewin carried him. I dread to think what it would have been without his goals. They probably could have nearly got relegated, probably. Well, at that stage, they nearly were in that stage. So they'll have to rely on Josh King for this game. He hasn't got much confidence due to him only just coming in. But he got Richarlison and Bernard there still, and James Rodriguez, but they're without Decore now and possibly Bernard. Bernard played well for them last season. He hasn't done as good this season because he just had the minutes with the new players all coming in and stuff. And here Spurs, well, they still got the inconsistency problem wrong, and they still can't fix that right. They still can't get the consistency right. As Jose could be getting sacked soon, and Harry Kane could be leaving to another European club or another Premier League club. Because he said he will leave if he don't get in the Champions League. Spurs' only injury concerns are Ben Davies and Matt Doherty, who have hardly had a chance to prove themselves this season. Doherty have been terrible at Spurs ever since leaving Wolves. He doesn't belong at Spurs. He belongs back at the mighty Wolves, at a smaller club, except a smaller club isn't always a bad thing because at least you can actually get minutes and actually get in the team. But unlike a big top team like Spurs, you're not going to get very minutes with the amount of players they've got. As the Wolves have got a small squad. So my prediction here is going to be Everton 1, Spurs 1. So right, on to the next game. Now, which is Newcastle versus West Ham. Well, Newcastle, a massive win for them away at Burnley. They need points like that in order to stay in the Premier League, and they did it. And against Spurs, the top team again. Well, they got a point against them 2-2 draw, and he actually deserved to win that. And he actually did deserve to win it. Against West Ham here, just can't see any way through for them here against West Ham. West Ham always tend to thrash you by at least on average 3 goals a game. Except West Ham always tend to score 3 goals. They always tend to be 3-0 up and then kind of let the other team back in the game though, like they did against Arsenal and Wolves. They bottled it against Arsenal and drew 3-3, but they didn't lose. They nearly bottled it against Wolves, but still won the game. And against Leicester, they nearly bottled it and let them back in the game, but they still won it. So against Wolves and Leicester, they still won it, but Arsenal, they bottled it though. I just can't see Newcastle getting anything against West Ham here. So except I can see them scoring a goal because West Ham always set teams back in the games. So I'm going to say Newcastle 1, West Ham 3. So right to the next game now, which is my team Wolves versus against Sheffield United. Well, of course, coming off a 1-0 win away at Fulham, a Adama Traore, the last minute goal, that was a much needed win for us. Well, but now we're against Sheffield United, and this is if we can't beat Sheffield United, we're in serious trouble. We have been in serious trouble this season. Now with the massive injury crisis we got, most recent injuries, Johnny doing his second ACL in his other foot, and now our top player this season, our only best player, Pedro Neto, is out for the rest of the season for 6 months until next season with ankle injuries, and he's missing the Euros for Portugal as well. And never sit out due to COVID as well, but that isn't as bad. So we're back to that he'll be back for the Burnley game next week. But I do wish him a small recovery and hope he gets well COVID, keeps doing what he's told and isolating, and then he can come back to Wolves and be happy again. I do reckon we can win it. I'm not getting too overconfident though, despite Sheffield United not being very good this season, being bottom of the league. And this week apparently, Sheffield United lose and results don't go their way, they're confirmed as relegated. But everyone's known they've been down for months, myself included. But here, my prediction here, I do think history will repeat like the start of the season when we were 2-0 after 5 minutes. So I reckon here, we are going to win. So I reckon Wolves 2, Sheffield United 0. It's a good job we got Sheffield United and Burnley up here due to our massive injury crisis, but we just can't get overconfident either though. So right, the next game now, which is Arsenal versus Fulham. Well, what a massive win for Arsenal midweek. Against Slavia Prague through to Europa League semi-finals. And doing a professional job over Sheffield United, winning 3-0. Alexander Lacazette being the hero again. Fulham here, can they get something out of the game? They can always get something out of any game, but they just never tend to get it. I can't see Fulham winning here, but I can't see them losing. So I'm going to say it can be a 1-1 draw. So Arsenal 1, Fulham 1. Right, next game now, which is Man United versus Burnley. Well, Man United are through to the Europa League semi-finals after beating Granada to go. Granada, massive win for them, and massive win against Spurs as well. So they just can't be stopped at the moment, Man United. So I can't see any way through for Burnley here. Burnley in 2 games, bottling 2 leads against Newcastle and Southampton, who are both trying to fight for survival, and Burnley included as well. I just think it can be a soft win for United here, and I'm going to go for Man United 2, Burnley 0. So right, to the next game now, which is Leeds versus Liverpool. Well, of course, Leeds are unbeaten in the last 4 games and have won 3 of those 4 games, and they actually tightened up at the back in recent weeks, which they've struggled to do all season. Leeds' most recent win away at Man City, winning 2-1. They were 1-0 up before half-time, then had a red card at half-time, going into half-time knowing we're probably going to lose now. Then Man City get back in the game in the first half, and then 90th minute, Stuart Dallas gets his double the game and they win the game. Spurs, Leeds might have only had 1 or 2 chances, but they were both on target, which is a bonus, and he took their chances, which Man City just didn't do. With a red card for one team when you're playing against Man City, you sort of think, now, God, Man City are going to thump us now, but Leeds didn't. That day happened to Leeds. Man City just didn't take the chances and lost that game. Well, Liverpool now, getting knocked out of Europe midweek by Real Madrid is going to hurt them massively, because they did play well against Real Madrid in the second leg. They just didn't take the chances. Liverpool getting some massive results in the Premier League, beating Arsenal away 3-0 and beating Aston Villa 2-1. Alexander-Arnold last minute goal, which is massive for Liverpool if they're going to still fight to at least get a top 4 spot this season. So here now, I am going to say, despite to these form at the moment, I do reckon that Liverpool will win here, but it'll be a close game that neither team will dominate. So I'm going to say Leeds 1, Liverpool 2. So right to Chelsea, on to next game now, which is Chelsea versus Brighton. Well, of course, this week Chelsea are involved in the FA Cup this weekend, but that's in the FA Cup, and Chelsea got a game midweek on Tuesday, part of the game week for the Premier League. And Chelsea losing 5-2 to West Brom, and after that they get a 4-1 win away at Palace in the south of London, forgetting that terrible defeat to West Brom. And then after the West Brom game, they went and got a massive win away at Porto in the first, second 1-2 now. But in the second leg against Porto, they lost 1-0. They still went through, but they played pretty bad, really. My prediction here for Chelsea is going to be that they're going to win by a comfortable margin. So I'm going to go for Chelsea 2, Brighton 0. So right, the next game now, which is Spurs versus Southampton. Of course, this is Spurs' second game in this Premier League game week. I don't know why that is. It's because someone needs to fill for Southampton needs to play against somebody, and it's obviously Spurs who have got to play them. Things not going well at Spurs at the moment. With their inconsistency, Mourinho possibly going, and Harry Kane possibly going to a newer club. Where Southampton, they're not in the best of form, recently losing 3-0 to the Baggies. That is a massive bad defeat. I hate West Brom, right, but you shouldn't be losing to the Baggies though. You should be thumping the Baggies really. My prediction here for the Spurs Southampton game is going to be win. I think Spurs can get a win here, so I'm going to go for Spurs 2, Southampton 1. Where both things aren't going right for both clubs at the moment, but I do think Spurs will edge it slightly, and Spurs will win 2-1. On to the next game now, which is Aston Villa versus Man City. Villa obviously still struggling without Grealish. However, they beat Fulham without him, though, and it's 3-1. But if they'd had Grealish there, I think it could have been a lot bigger the score. You can tell how much Villa missed Grealish though, and it lost 2-1 to Liverpool. So Villa at times are just nothing without Grealish. Well, last season, if someone's about Grealish, they would have gone down. Man City now losing 2-1 to Leeds in the league recently. Leeds going down to 10 men, and they still can't beat them. They play well, just didn't take the chances and lost 2-1. And Man City this weekend are involved in the FA Cup as well at the weekend before their game on Wednesday in this week's Premier League game week, and they're playing Chelsea. So here, I reckon that Man City can get a win here, like they did at Leicester, and win 2-0. So Aston Villa 0, Manchester City 2. So right, so the last game now, which is Leicester versus West Brom. Well, of course, Leicester aren't in the best of form in the Premier League, recently losing to Man City and West Ham, so they have been pretty poor lately. And however, West Brom have been in good